Got Tropical Smoothie Cafe. I'm enjoying this time. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I've not done any looking for a job. I've been basically living off of my tax refund this past several weeks since I've been laid off. And I needed this time to decompress, to heal. I'm still feeling like I'm healing from just being in survival mode. And I was in survival mode for so long, even after I left Jehovah's Witnesses and I left my marriage. There was things I still had to work through. My sense of worth, my self-worth was low because I still put myself in situations that I knew weren't for my own good. And, the last time I dated someone was close to 2 years ago. And although he was a nice guy, something in the unhealed part of me knew that he wasn't really healed either. And I don't think either one of us should have been dating. But sometimes you have to learn those things as you are going through them or after the fact. They say hindsight is 20/20. So I'm realizing that since we broke up, I had to heal some more. And I think I've made a significant breakthrough. I've had what I feel like was a big shift around this last full moon. And something just felt like it dropped into my body, where I think for so long I had been operating from the mind and focused on thinking my way through things. And especially, I would say even to the beginning of 2026, I wanted to focus more on my body, on healing not just my mind, but I wanted it to be a mind, body, spirit thing. I just noticed that my clock said 3:13, which has been a huge number for me. I actually have a story about 3:13 that I think I will post in another video. But going back to the whole mind, body, spirit connection, I realized that is what I wanted. I think that having a healthy mind, body, spirit is really understanding that health is not just about your body. It's not just about your mind. It's not just about your spirit. Like, we make up all those things. And I realized that I needed to have a multifaceted approach when it came to those things. And so I really started focusing on meditating, on moving my body more, and on filling my mind with good things and trying to redirect my thoughts. That doesn't mean that I've done it perfectly. I do struggle, especially with ruminating. And I recognize that. And I recognize that is something that I've been used to doing because I'm trying to problem solve. Like, my nature is to want to problem solve, to want to figure things out. And there are just a lot of things in life that are not about problem solving, but about really focusing in on your inner peace and allowing whatever chaos is going on around you to happen, and recognize that you have very little control over that. And that is a very hard thing for me, because I think I've always wanted to have a measure of control, and I would pride myself on being really reasonable and level-headed and grounded, and I portrayed myself as that a lot of times, and that's why people always, would see me as dependable, because not a whole lot would fluster me. And what I didn't realize what I was doing was, like, I was absorbing all the things around me and taking that in, all the chaos and other people acting however they wanted to act, and I still stayed grounded, but I was absorbing all that and was creating within myself this inner chaos of my mind, and thinking that I had to be the sponge to absorb all those things. And it's something that started way before I was an adult. It started as a child, is really how I learned to be that way within my family, because there was chaos in my family, and it was my way of, I think, of creating safety, or feeling like, if I could somehow make this situation less volatile and remain calm, then I'll be safe. And so now that I've had time to myself to focus even more so on my healing and on taking care of myself, and I've been taking baths with Epsom salts like every single day, and just soaking in the bathtub, and it's been amazing. I haven't had this much downtime, and I couldn't even tell you how long, if ever, just to myself. And I'm realizing how much I needed it. That even when I had breast cancer like 4 years ago, I did take time off for my treatments, but I continued to work all through my treatments, through my chemo, through my radiation. It was really difficult during chemo, and I would take the day of that I was getting the chemo treatment, I would take that day off, and then I would maybe take off the Monday. So I would usually get chemo on a Friday, and then I would take off the Monday and maybe Tuesday, but a lot of times I would return to work Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. And my treatments were, I believe, about 3 weeks apart, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4 weeks. And I had 4 treatments. So yeah, even then it was like I just kept going. But again, I was in survival mode. I was doing what I felt like I needed to do to keep moving forward, to keep surviving, because I saw that light at the end of the tunnel, and it's like I wanted to get to this place of feeling secure. And now I'm at the place where it's like, even though I don't have like physical job security, I feel like this is the first time in my life where I've felt secure, like within myself, and I'm not freaking out. And that's not to say I didn't like freak out a little bit when I first found out I was getting laid off. I'm not gonna lie, that first week was rough. I could barely go into work and like look at my boss or my coworkers without crying, and I'd have to like remove myself from their vicinity so I could get myself together. That first week was rough, but then when I got through that first week, I started to realize that it was a blessing in disguise, and that it's actually something I asked for. I had written in my diary that I wanted a job that feeds my soul. And I wrote that prior to 2026. And the thing is like, you cannot ask for something new to come into your life and not expect the old to leave. So I knew what I was asking for was like, my losing that job was like part of what I was asking for. That was the first step. And to be quite honest, I probably would not have left the job of my own free will, because it was a good paying job and it had good insurance. And I felt like especially having had the history with breast cancer, I felt like I needed the insurance. But something shifted in my perspective about life in general and about what my belief system was. Now, keep in mind, I came from a very closed system of belief. As a Jehovah's Witness, you know, we had a very specific way of believing that affected every aspect of our lives. And even though mentally I had mostly pulled myself out of that system, and then physically as well, there are still remnants of it that remain with you subconsciously that limit your beliefs and your thinking. And having this time has really helped me to see the ways I was limiting myself into a job that while I did it well, I thought, well, this is the only job that I can do because this is the training I got. And I didn't see any other opportunities. And now it's like I'm open to other opportunities in life. And I recognize that, like, I have things to share with people and things to talk about, and this is what gets me excited. Like, talking to people about stuff that goes on in life, and that we're not just these physical beings. Like, all of this is within our power to change. Like, we are so powerful, and I'm starting to realize, like, just how powerful I am and how powerful all of us are. And I feel my own sense of self growing. It's like I feel this sense of empowerment that I didn't have before, and it makes me excited and it makes me emotional. And I want to share that with other people, especially women who've felt like they were unseen and unheard, and feel like they have something to contribute, because we all do. We all have things to contribute in this life. We all have a purpose here. And I just want to share. So those are some of my thoughts, and I know I was kind of all over the place, but I am not overthinking this whole journey, and I want to share it with other people because it's meaningful to me. And, you know, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to have this ability to do this and to share with other people. And I hope that I get to meet a lot of you amazing people along the way. So I'm sending everyone love, and I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Take care.